The forums are melting down with fans calling this the fantasy fixture they have been praying for. The online verdict is clear. Watching these two modern heritage icons go head-to-head is pure inspiration fuel. But beneath the smiles and handshakes runs a deep, thrumming current of nerves. Don't forget, Alex is still licking her wounds from that gut-wrenching quarter.
Eala has just touched down in Chicago, Illinois. And she is not there for vacation. She is there to sign a $30 million deal with Gatorade. $30 million. Music, let that massive number sink into your mind for a moment. And while that incredible news is spreading across the internet like an absolute music wildfire, there's a very specific group of people who are feeling something incredibly uncomfortable right now. The music haters, the doubters, and the loud critics who spent years telling anyone who would listen that Eala simply did not, music, belong at the absolute elite level of professional tennis. The ones who aggressively whispered that she would never make it. Music, that she was just another overhyped prospect who would fade into the background before ever reaching the pinnacle of the sport. Every single one of those people is sitting at home right now staring at their screens as this news breaks, and the bitter regret is hitting them like a runaway freight train because Eala did not just make it. She is signing $30 million contracts with one of the most powerful, iconic sports brands on the face of the planet, and the most terrifying part for her critics. This is only the opening chapter of what promises to be an absolutely legendary history-making career. Listen to me closely. Gatorade is not a company that just blindly hands out $30 million deals to anyone with a tennis racket. They are ruthlessly selective about who represents their brand. Their endorsed athletes are not just pretty faces printed on a plastic bottle. They are global symbols of excellence. They are the embodiment, music, of grit, of resilience, and of the kind of raw, undeniable determination that inspires millions of people around the world. When Gatorade comes calling with that kind of heavy money, music, it means something profound. It means their top executives have looked at Eala and decided without a single shadow of a doubt that she is worth every single penny of that massive investment. They have studied her upward trajectory. They have meticulously analyzed her market value. And they have looked very closely at the sheer size, power, and passion of her fan base across multiple continents. And honestly, looking at the absolute empire she has built both on and off the record, it is completely impossible to argue with their conclusion. The deal is reportedly set to run for 2 years, officially positioning Eala as the ultimate face of Gatorade within the WTA. But here is the brilliant strategic part about this massive business move that the mainstream media is completely missing. Gatorade is not just buying a phenomenal tennis player with this contract. They are buying an exclusive golden ticket to an entire region and an entire global market that has been desperately waiting for exactly this kind of superstar representation. Eala represents something that absolutely no other player in the WTA can offer right now. She carries the heavy hopes, the fierce dreams, and the undeniable pride of millions of fans across the Philippines and all of Southeast Asia on her shoulders every single time she steps onto that court. And Gatorade knows exactly what that means in terms of explosive business opportunity and brand expansion. The sports beverage market is currently valued at over $100 billion, $17 billion, and aggressive projections show that it is set to skyrocket by more than $2 billion by the year 2034. That is a colossal mountain of money waiting to be fully captured. The brands that move fast and align themselves with the right generational faces are going to completely dominate that incredible growth. Gatorade just made the smartest business decision of the decade because Eala is the perfect, flawless bridge between the traditional sport of tennis and music, a massive, completely untapped consumer base. She is no longer just an athlete. She is a walking cultural phenomenon, and every major corporate brand in the world is starting to wake up and realize that reality in a very serious way. Music, the ticket sales back it up. The rabid fanbase backs it up, and the financial results of every single campaign she has ever touched. Music, absolutely back it up. Gatorade saw all of that blinding evidence. They acted decisively, and now they are about to reap the rewards of that bold, forward-thinking decision. And the crazy part is the announcement is not even officially public yet. Gatorade is reportedly planning to make the massive music theatrical reveal at the BNP Paribas Open next month. Can you even imagine what that cinematic moment is going to look like? The blinding stadium spotlights, the flashing cameras, the deafening vibrating energy in that arena, and then the booming announcement that one of tennis's most electrifying rising stars is now the global face of the world's most powerful sports beverage company. The fans are going to completely lose their minds when that moment arrives. The haters are already frantically scrambling, desperately trying to figure out what excuse to invent next. When that official moment finally drops, the collective meltdown from the doubters is going to be absolutely spectacular to witness. But here is the ultimate truth that those critics never ever understood about Alexa. She was never just playing for silver trophies. She has been quietly, methodically building a financial empire from the very beginning. Brick by brick, deal by deal, win by brutal win. While small-minded people were actively trying to dismiss her, Eala was quietly stacking generational wealth. The Gatorade deal is massive and completely historic. Music, but it is not even the only major corporate move she has made in recent months. Earlier this year, she signed an enormous, landscape-shifting deal with Eala that proved exactly how lethal her business instincts truly are. Instead of just nodding her head and taking a straightforward, boring cash payment like 99% of young athletes would gladly accept, she pushed back. She, Music, demanded and successfully negotiated a 2% equity stake in the entire company. That single brilliant decision tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the genius of Alexa. Eala is currently valued at a staggering $240 million, a valuation that has surged nearly 50% compared to last year alone. That means her personal equity stake is already worth millions of dollars in passive income. Music, and as that company continues to globally expand, her personal wealth multiplies automatically while she sleeps. This is not the desperate move of someone who just wants to quickly cash in on 15 minutes of fame. This is the calculated, brilliant move of a young woman who is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She is thinking 10, 15, or 20 steps ahead. And do not even get me started on the Nutrifactor advertisement that completely broke the internet just 4 short months ago. That specific advertisement became one of the most watched pieces of branded content on all of YouTube, pulling in a mind-bending 70 million views. 70 million people, not for a Taylor Swift music video or a Marvel blockbuster movie trailer, but for a commercial advertisement featuring Alexa. That number is almost mathematically incomprehensible when you compare it to what massive corporations spend trying to achieve that exact kind of reach. 70 million sets of human eyes. Companies burn hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing budgets trying to manufacture that kind of viral attention. Music, and Eala delivered it effortlessly simply by looking into the camera, being her authentic self, and connecting deeply with her people. The biggest brands on the planet saw those 70 million views rolling Indiana. And the panic immediately set in. Phones started ringing off the hook because those kinds of earth-shattering figures are simply impossible to ignore. Music, and now the absolute titans of the industry are going to war over her signature. Nike has been paying very, very close attention to the Eala movement. And what they have seen has reportedly convinced the entire Nike boardroom that she is the undisputed future of tennis and music in the massive Asian market. Reports are leaking that Nike is currently moving with terrifying aggression to secure her loyalty, Music, and they are highly motivated by fear. They do not want a repeat of the deeply embarrassing, painful situation where they fumbled the bag and lost Coco Gal to New Balance. That was one of the most humiliating, costly endorsement mistakes in Nike's modern history. And the executives have never forgotten the sting of watching all that enormous value walk right out their front door. They are absolutely under no circumstances making that same catastrophic mistake with Eala. With rival giants like New Balance and Adidas aggressively circling the waters, Nike Music is not going to sit back and wait. The buzz around Eala is simply too loud, too consistent, and too culturally powerful for Nike to lose. The raw numbers currently being heavily rumored for this potential Nike deal are nothing short of staggering. Industry insiders are reporting whispered figures of $45 million over a 3-year contract, packed with massive additional bonuses and performance incentives that could easily push the total value into the stratosphere. But perhaps infinitely more significant than the raw life-changing money is the music, actual role being discussed for her within the Nike brand family. This would not be a standard run-of-the-mill endorsement arrangement. This is legacy building. This is exactly what happens when you put your head down, ignore the toxic noise, keep grinding in the dark, keep believing in your own supreme talent, and keep proving the entire world wrong. Day after brutal day, the rewards eventually arrive. And when they arrive for someone as undeniably special as Alexa, they arrive in the most spectacular, world-stopping fashion imaginable. She has relentlessly developed her physical game to an elite, terrifying level. And she has brilliantly built a personal brand that genuinely transcends the sport of tennis itself. She has connected deeply with a global audience and positioned herself as a true once-in-a-generation talent. To everyone who laughed, to everyone who doubted, and to everyone who actively tried to hold her back and whispered that she would never reach the mountaintop, music, your moment of absolute total reckoning has arrived. The $30 million Gatorade deal is real. The landing in Chicago is real. The massive, unstoppable empire being built around Eala is very, very real. And the only thing in this world more certain than her continued aggressive rise to the top is the bitter, suffocating regret now consuming every single person who ever made the catastrophic mistake of betting against.